Hello! I'm a little bit late to this game, but I've seen a lot of people do quarterly wrap-ups and quarterly stats type videos recently, and so I thought it might be a good opportunity to check in on how I'm doing with my reading so far this year and how I'm doing on my goals so far this year. So, starting off with the number of books that I have read so far, and for this I'm talking about January, February and March, so even though you're seeing this in May, I'm not including April in this. I'm only using the first quarter of the year, so January through to March. So in January I read 11 books, in February I read 8 books, and in March I read 11 books again, so that's 30 books in total. And of those 30 books, I read 6.5 books in January by BIPOC authors. 6.5 because one book was a dual authored book and only one of them was a black author. 5 BIPOC books in February and 4 in March. So that is a total of 15.5 books by BIPOC authors, which is just over 50% of the books that I read in the first quarter of the year, which I'm very happy about. I feel like I kind of want that to be even higher, but I think that's a really good starting point. I will say I haven't done very well with that in April, but I am planning on remedying it in May and June, so hopefully we can keep on track as the year progresses. But so far, with the first quarter, so good. So looking at my goals for the year, my first was to read 100 books. So if I've read 30 in the first quarter, if I were to match that for the other 3 quarters of the year, I would actually hit 120. So we're on track with that one. Spend time on my reads. So by this I meant to be slightly less number focused and be more present when I'm reading and be more intentional with my reading. And I feel like in the first quarter I did pretty well with this. I enjoyed, for the most part, the majority of what I was reading in the first quarter. I am, throughout this year so far, getting a little bit more comfortable with DNFing books. So I feel like that is all headed in the right direction in terms of this spending time on books thing. So I think we're okay with that one so far. I realised that really I should have probably figured out a way to measure this particular goal. I mean, your goals should always be measurable, and that one really isn't. It's more intentional. So it's a little bit difficult to say, but I feel like I'm doing okay with that one so far. The next goal was to use Storygraph instead of Goodreads, and I am definitely doing that. I have also found that I am actually not rating books anymore. Not because I've swapped to Storygraph and it's not easy to rate on Storygraph, not at all. In fact, it's probably easier to rate on Storygraph because you can use half stars and 0.25 stars. So rating on Storygraph is actually much easier than on Goodreads. But I feel like I'm not as comfortable rating books anymore. I don't really know why that shift has happened, but I don't know. I feel like I can never put a number to my reads. I either enjoyed them, didn't enjoy them, absolutely loved them. So I'm just not rating books anymore, but I have swapped to using the Storygraph. The next goal was to read the books from my subscription boxes, and I'm not caught up with all of these, but I feel like I've done reasonably well with this. So looking at my list of books that I've read so far this year, Legendborn was from a book box, Once and Future Witches was from a book box, The Ravens was, The Cousins, A Dark and Hollow Star, Law was from a book box, and that's it. So 6, which actually I don't think is that bad. I'm reasonably happy with that. I still have to catch up, but a lot of those are books that I've received in book boxes so far this year. So I feel like I'm actually doing okay with that particular goal just now. The next goal was to read more contemporary and romance books. And I can't remember how many I read last year, so that probably doesn't really help. But I mean, my reading is still predominantly fantasy. But how many contemporary romance type books have I read? So Always and Forever Lara Jean. Oh dear. The Cousins. Well, it's contemporary mystery, but I'm counting it. Challenger Deep, contemporary mental health. I'll Be the One. Get a Life, Chloe Brown. Concrete Rose. The Kiss Quotient. Yeah, that's it. So 7 out of 30 were, although actually the Kiss Quotient I read in April, so I can't count that because I'm only talking about January, February, March. So, and I read Concrete Rose in April as well. So 5 out of 30, which is 1/6. It's like 15% of my reads so far this year have been contemporary or romance, which, you know, I'm happy with that. I feel like I'm reading an amount of contemporary romance that I am happy with. I have more on my shelves that I want to read, but I feel like I'm doing okay with that one. Read BIPOC, we've already discussed that one. And the last one was Start and Continue series, which I've actually done a separate video on that you'll be seeing soon, so I'm not going to talk about that here. But I feel like I'm doing okay with my goals so far this year. I also had a top 21 books to read in 2021 list, so I guess we can have a look at that as well. And my battery is flashing, so I'm just going to change it. So we can have a look at that as well. So far from this list, there are 21 of them, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I've read 7 of these already, which is the third, which is slightly more than I need to because the year is split up into quarters in these videos, and I've already read a third, which is more than a quarter. So that's good. I do also have Empire of Dreams on here, and I was planning on reading that in April, but the audiobook didn't come in time, but I've got it now, so I will probably be reading that one in May. So yeah, I'm not too worried about these. I feel like I am getting to them. And so yeah, I don't know if this video was interesting, but I feel like it was a nice little check-in. I'm doing okay with all my goals so far. I'm on track. So yeah, that's it for this slightly weird and possibly redundant video since it's so late, but oh well, never mind. Don't forget to check out Ponderful books in my description bar. And that is it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like this from me, then do think about hitting that subscribe button, and I hope to see you here again soon. Thanks, bye.